The older I get, the more I crave the solace of winter. The crisp morning air in my lungs, the sound of fallen leaves beneath my feet, and the comforting call of my warm home when life becomes too heavy, a light in the window, as if to say it's been waiting for me. The moon's determination to shine on us all, earlier and earlier, making the moments of sunlight more precious. Winter is a pause in constantly waiting for the next moment in life, a break from the hustle of constantly thriving, constantly justifying my existence by living it up. While I relish a hot chocolate and a lengthy book, my soul rests, and my body settles into hibernation, not to be awoken again until the flowers are preparing to bloom. One of my goals for the year was to cook more at home and cook better meals. It's so easy to just fall back on the same pasta dishes over and over again because they're quick and they're good and they're easy. But I have found something so therapeutic about cooking, the cooking process, and the intimacy of cooking food for someone. Get this moment of peace to myself where I'm not focusing on my racing thoughts or my insecurities or my problems. And as the days get colder, the nights come in faster, I have been turning towards more comfort foods, soups, casseroles. Right now I'm actually making a French onion soup. I'm not a big French onion person, but my partner really loves it. It's going to stew in the crock pot for 3 hours until he gets home, and then I'm gonna make some bread and do all of that. I don't have a ton of medical anxiety for myself, and you would think that I would because I pick up diagnoses like Tic Tacs, but I really don't. I don't really stress about, colds. I've had headaches for 4 weeks and I'm not super concerned about them, but when it comes to my animals, the littlest things will freak me out, especially with all we've dealt with Bane this year, our oldest boy. If you are familiar with male cats, they have a lot of, they can have a lot of issues going pee, and it can be very fatal for them, and they can die within hours. So that's why it's important for you, especially with male cats, to monitor their bathroom habits. I caught our youngest, Oswald, doing some weird things the other night. And so I have spent last night and this morning stressing, and now I'm home monitoring him. So I guess we can talk about what I've been reading / watching this week. So I got another episode into Crash Course in Romance. I hadn't watched it in a couple of weeks. Finally at the point where they have professed their feelings for each other, and they're like past all the obstacles that is keeping them apart, and now I think they're finally going to be together, which I've spoken in all of my previous vlogs since I started watching this, how freaking cute their relationship is, how good the actors are. It's just overall a really good K-drama. The overarching story is a murder mystery, and we've got some developments in that. So then I ended up starting The Shadow of the Gods, which is a Norse-inspired epic about blood and vengeance. And I don't quite know too terribly much about what this one is about. Only got 20 pages in, and I am enjoying this. I did do some research. This is not connected to the other books that I have from this author, the one other, so I am free to read this. I have heard that this is like what people like more, and then Malice is more standard fantasy. This is more inventive, fun, dark, grim. I guess fun's not really an adjective used to describe this, but I probably am gonna start reading that at some point today. So that is it. To read the books that I have checked out from my library. I got 150-ish pages into Shadow of the Gods, and I decided to pick this up as an audiobook. And you could remind me that I currently have like 3 other audiobooks going right now, but I don't need you to. I know. I started to read this and wasn't really feeling it. I've reread it so recently that I'm just not itching to read it right now. And then I did end up getting the ebook from my library for The Jasad Heir, which I think is a fantasy with a romance. I am 103 pages in, and I've heard people comparing this to Fourth Wing, which it's not at all like Fourth Wing. This is basically about a girl who is the heir to a kingdom. You're told right off the bat, and it's fairly obvious, but she lets you know. And she had to go into hiding after her kingdom was overthrown. And so she's living in this village pretending to be someone that she's not. And there is a trial going on, and like champions are picked, think like Hunger Games trials basically. And she gets picked by the crown prince of one of the kingdoms. I'm not entirely sure the backstory or like the way that the kingdoms are set up. I did struggle a little bit to get into this, admittedly. I was watching Gossip Girl at the same time trying to read, and that just never works. Gossip Girl is just not one of those shows that I can like put on as background noise. So the beginning of this, I missed a little bit of like the lore, backstory, world building, all that kind of stuff, but it's over 500 pages, so I'm fairly confident that I will pick it up as I go. I am enjoying it so far. She just got picked as the champion after kind of a traumatic event happened. Fairly interesting so far. It definitely took me a little while to get into it, like I said, but I am into it and I'm excited, and I've missed fantasy romance. Just fantasy romance has a whole different feeling to it, so I am enjoying it. So I spent the entire weekend, and when I say the entire weekend, I mean it, every second of the day I spent reading the Jasad Air. And I ended up finishing it, obviously, and I really liked it. I decided to give it 4 stars. I don't really have any complaints. I don't really know why it wasn't a 5-star. I think a lot of that comes from what I was saying in my last clip about not really understanding the world, and I don't necessarily know if it was my fault. Probably my fault. I liked the romance a lot. I liked how kind of little we got. I thought it was this perfect slow burn. I liked the ending, and I liked the characters. I was overall happy with the story, but it wasn't my perfect book. As far as everything else goes, I feel like I'm in this really weird place that I am feeling optimistic and happy about the end of the year and the beginning of next year, and also very calm and at peace. It's a weird feeling because I don't think that I've had like a true moment of peace at all this year, and I'm very happy that I'm having it. I have a lot of just one exciting thing planned for the rest of the year. I always do Christmas Eve with my mom. We usually go and see a movie. I'm gonna make a big dinner here, and then we're gonna go see a movie on Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day, I'm not quite sure what we're gonna be doing, and then I'm off all next week, like Christmas to New Year's. So yeah, I just feel like coming to the end of the year, I feel good, and I don't know what next year is gonna bring, but I'm hoping that it's better than this one. And I'm hoping saying those words doesn't curse me. For the rest of the week, I do need to kind of prepare the house for having people over. I'm going to do that more towards the end of the week. And I think what I want to do is grind out some books. So I do still have the Throne of Glass series that I'm reading. And I also started a fan fiction that I am reading based on my stepsister's recommendation. And I'm like halfway through it. And I'm really, really, really liking it. The writing is beautiful, but also very overwritten sometimes. But I'm really liking it. It's a romance, obviously, and it has like a magical element to it, and it's about a circus, and it's just lovely, and I'm really liking it. But I want to get through it, and then I want to move on to some fantasy romances, and I'm going to try to get through all of the fantasy romances that I have on my Kindle Unlimited list. I want to start the new year with a brand new list, so.
The engine starts right up. Clip myself into the middle seat. Daddy liked talk radio. On gravel he would drive real slow. He told me let's go see what we could see. We pulled into the empty lot before the pavement got too hot. Underneath her leafy crown.
I replaced my Switch's Joy-Cons yesterday, so I spent the entirety of the day playing Disney Dreamlight Valley. I have had an issue with my Switch remotes where they would drift, so basically they would just like move my character on their own. So I finally replaced them, and I spent the entire day playing Disney Dreamlight Valley. It was so lovely. I did start the audiobook for The Hanging City. This is like a Kindle ebook audiobook combo situation. So you get the Kindle Unlimited book and they give you the audiobook. I wouldn't say it's right off the bat the most compelling book. It seems to be about this girl who has the power of fear, and she is trying to escape her family, and she settles in this troll city, and she becomes like a worker there. There's not a ton of humans. I don't really know what the storyline or anything is. I believe she gets tasked with killing someone and then she like falls in love with them. Don't know if they're troll, don't know if they're human, don't know anything about it. For today, I'm leaving for work in a little bit, and then when I get home I have some other work that I need to do, and then I will probably game. I don't know. But for now, I'm going to eat my oatmeal and go to work. I had books due back from the library, and I'm actually incapable of going to the library and not getting books, even when I know I'm just gonna be reading things on KU. So I got some books. Those are my trackers for the next year, but we'll review those in the next video. First up, Three Body Problem. First Contact with Aliens. It'll be my first alien book, aside from that book from the Martian author. The Bone Season fantasy. I feel like I've read this before. I might have DNF'd it. Didn't really enjoy it that much the first time, but who's to say the second time I will not enjoy it. The Invasion of the Tierling is the second book in the Queen of the Tierling series. Read the first one last year. Do I remember a single thing about it? No. But we'll see how the rest of the series goes. I gave it 4 stars, so I must have liked it, but I don't remember anything. So I might have to read a recap for that. Everyone is Lying Here. This is Sherry Lupina's newest release, I'm pretty sure. It was giving me this TV show vibes. Weird neighborhood, everybody's acting weird, everybody has secrets and lies. So excited for that, really loved that show. We have For the Wolf. I don't know why this reminds me of something, like why seeing this cover, like I felt like I had to pick it up. It's by Hannah Witten. I don't know what else this author has written that I might have known about. Maybe I've heard of this book, I'm not really sure, but I think it's like a fantasy with romance, and I think it's like a Red Riding Hood situation. I don't know, I feel like I've heard of it somewhere before and like got really good praise, so let me know down in the comments if you know what the heck I'm talking about, because it's driving me mad. But yeah, so then we have Clara and the Sun. I'm pretty sure the main character is like not human or something, I don't know. And then lastly, probably the one that I'm most worried about, just writing style wise, I've heard this is pretty tough, but it's Black Leopard Red Wolf. I read the first page and it didn't seem too bad, but I know that this is very intense writing, so we'll see how I like it. Yes?
I don't
What?
wanna waste it on anybody. Take it with anybody but you. I don't wanna waste it on anybody. Make it with anybody but you. I don't wanna waste it.
Let's unbox this month's Fairy Loot together, and then we can get some reading updates. So this month's theme is Artifacts of Power. First up, we have a Howl's Moving Castle tea light holder. It comes with the little tea light holder, this bar, the fan part, and little fire sprites. You hook onto the little fan and then the flame causes it to spin. Next up we have the What the River Knows scarf. I don't usually wear scarves, so I'll probably just hang this. It's very pretty. It has nice colors. I really like the motifs. Based on What the River Knows, we have the art print, which has the letter from the author on the back. The bookmark that always matches the spoiler card. We have some gold bookends that have little swords on them, inspired by Legend Born by Tracy Dion. Love that book. I don't see the tarot cards. It says the tarot cards are from Fourth Wing, but I'm didn't see them in the box. And then here is the book. We start off with some beautiful pink sprayed edges. I don't think we've had pink sprayed edges yet. We of course have the gorgeous cover. I really like the simple coloring and the continued motif. That is the spine and the edges. Nothing on the bottom. The end pages are gorgeous. It's actually a girl, and this is her hair. I love that. With roses or something in it. And then it continues on the back. And then, oh, wow, this is beautiful. This is the naked hardcover. That is stunning. That is gorgeous. The spine and the back. This is really gorgeous. I really like how sort of understated this is. And this is the inside art. It matches the art card. Wow, this is really pretty. Like I said, I really like the pink sprayed edges. I'm a big fan. And I think it goes well with the book. I definitely would use the naked hardcover to display it because I think it's gorgeous. But this is What the River Knows. This says it's burning with romance. It's set in 19th century Buenos Aires. The main character has everything except her parents, who are globe-trotting adventurers. She receives a terrible letter that her parents have passed away. She travels to Cairo. She brings along a ring that flares with ancient magic, and she is thrust into a treacherous game that could threaten her life and into the push of her new guardian's infuriatingly handsome assistant, who seems determined to thwart her at every turn. The mummy meets death on the Nile in this lush historical fantasy set in 19th century Egypt, filled with adventure and rivals to lovers' romance in a dangerous race. This sounds really good. I'm actually very excited to get to this. And as far as what I have been reading, I told you that I had started listening to The Hanging City. I did end up finishing it and I gave it 3 stars. If this didn't have the audiobook, I definitely would have DNF'd it. I didn't really find anything super gripping about the story, and it was just kind of one of those books that I just listened to and it was just on in the background. Not super riveting. And then I also started The Invasion of the Tierling, which you guys saw me get from the library, but I stopped reading that because it kind of turned in like this Handmaiden's Tale, which was a little bit odd. I don't really love dystopian fiction, and I think the writing overall, like all of the issues that I remember having in the first one just were worse in this one. So I stopped reading it about 120 pages in. I finished the fan fiction that I was talking about that was recommended by my stepsister. I really liked it, and I was going to start The Viridian Princess, which I think is a fantasy romance, and I think it's something Star Wars related. I think it's like The Mandalorian or something like that, something along those lines, but I've heard really good things about it. So I have been working basically all day yesterday, and then reading that fan fiction and all that, so I haven't really had a chance to pick anything else up aside from the Tierling. So I'm probably going to start something new. Today is Saturday, tomorrow is Christmas Eve, so I'm going to be busy with family and stuff, so I probably won't update you guys or do much reading tomorrow, but today has just been cleaning the house all day to prepare for people to be over. So that is my update. I know this vlog is kind of all over the place. I sat down to edit it the other day and I was like, this is just a weird compilation of things. But I am happy that I'm doing one vlog all in one for numerous reasons towards the end of the year. I think it's really easy for creators and consumers to get very overwhelmed with Vlogmas content, and because Vlogmas is very oversaturated, there tends to not be an audience for it, and the audience gets very overwhelmed. So I learned my lesson last year. I don't regret doing it last year, but I'm very happy that I'm not doing it this year, and I'm happy that I'm kind of just doing one end of the year vlog to wrap out the last couple of weeks. So this one's gonna be quite a long one, but I like long vlogs, so I hope you guys are enjoying it thus far too, and we'll talk later.
Blue dude, blue moon, kinda mysterious, shaded with someone I'm not really into. Do you need to fix it? Talking bullshit. It's hard.
Happy holidays to you, whatever you celebrate. I have done all of my nice little family holiday stuff. It was lovely, and now I'm so excited to go into this week off. Aside from some side business and possible regular work stuff that I have to do, I am going to focus on chilling. So, ending out the year strong with some downtime. But I have been reading. Ended up trying to read the Red Riding Hood story. I think it's like For the Wolf or something like that. And I got maybe a little under halfway through. Wasn't really my thing, so I decided to DNF it. And then I picked up Everyone Here Is Lying, which is the thriller that I compared to that one TV show. And it didn't really end up being anything like that show. This is basically about a girl who goes missing, and all of the people in her small towns, like secrets and stuff like that. I did end up giving this 4 stars. I don't have enough experience really with oppositional defiant disorder and the continuum in which psychopathy in children and adults presents itself, enough to talk about some characters in here. There were some complaints about like one of the main characters, the little girl, not being like not acting appropriate for her age. And without going into spoilers, there isn't a correlation between the way that her intelligence level and other things. That's not to say that you can't be intelligent and also be this thing, but it's actually usually the opposite. A lot of people were complaining that she's young, she's only 9, and the way that she acts is a little bit not realistic, the way she thinks. I think if anytime you're going into a thriller and you are saying to yourself like this is not realistic, you're kind of missing the point of a thriller in my opinion. So I don't ding thrillers for like not being realistic. So I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. I do think the ending was a little bit rushed. I did enjoy the actual ending, like the way that everything wrapped up, but overall it was good. Not my perfect book. And then I also got about 50-ish% of the way through Viridian Princess. I hope that's what it's called. I'm still really enjoying this. Part of the issue that I was having with For the Wolf or whatever was that I was also reading Viridian Princess at the same time. And so like because they're both fantasy romance-ish, I was struggling, but also I think For the Wolf is just kind of boring. So that being said, I do think that I'm going to pick up the Bone season next. I'm not quite sure how heavily romantic this is. I don't know if there's even any romance in this one. I have started this previously. I'm almost 99% sure, and I ended up DNFing it, but I'm going to give it a second shot because I've heard good things. And then I'm also going to continue reading Viridian Princess, which is probably what I'm going to pick up for the rest of the night. It is Monday, and like I said, I'm off the rest of the week. So tonight, we're going crazy. We're going to stay up late and read and have fun. So that is the update. I hope you all enjoyed whatever your relaxing time. I hope you got to enjoy some relaxing time for the holiday. I hope if you weren't able to celebrate with anybody, that you found some solace somewhere, and I hope that you didn't feel alone. And if you did, you're not alone, and we're all here, and yeah.
Not blue. Not blue. Blue too. I ran into you. Do you need a picture? Well, that gets old. It's hard to take one when your iPhone's full. Who's gonna save you? Who's gonna make you not blue? Not blue. Not blue.
Happy Wednesday. I am gonna make some coffee. I probably should have some breakfast. I didn't really do a whole lot of reading last night. I know I said I was going to read more of Viridian Priestess. Yes, thank you, Ashley, for reading hundreds of pages of a book and still not getting the name correct. But I ended up watching S-Fan playing GTA RP, which is basically like a GTA, the video game server, but you can roleplay as like whatever character you want. And S-Fan is playing this cop who's like this country guy who's like in love with guns, and it's hilarious. He just like goes around like shooting people, and it's so funny. So I ended up watching a majority of that. And then I had to do some side business stuff with my partner at night. And then we ended up watching more of S-Fan's stream because he is running for mayor in this town. And so he had like a debate and it was a whole thing. But that means that I didn't really read a lot. But I am enjoying Viridian Priestess still. I realized that I haven't really talked about what this is about. So it's basically a fantasy romance. It's like a Mandalorian situation, Star Wars thing. I'm not a huge Star Wars person. I've seen all the movies and I'm like familiar with the story, but I'm not like a super fan. So I don't know like really what this is based on or anything like that. But all I know is he's like modeled after the Mandalorian. It's very obvious. And so she is a priestess of, there's like these 3 worlds and they were ruled by the gods. Typical story of like the gods were overthrown, the world split into 3. Each of the worlds has like their own belief system and stuff and like way of living. And she is a priestess on this island that values, you know, purity and all that kind of stuff. And she's been, like, she was born there, she's been there since birth. And her head priestess told her that if she goes on this adventure to get the 3 stones that were gifted to them by their like goddess, that she will ascend and become like a high priestess. Each of the worlds was gifted a stone by the first mother, and this is supposed to protect them against her children, one of which is bad. And so they have to travel to another planet, get permission to take the stones, all that kind of stuff, and then go back. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty gripping, it's pretty interesting. I really like the romance. The 99th Commander is very stoic, but it's one of those situations where like he doesn't say a lot, but he shows her a lot and a lot of actions, which is lovely. I probably am going to end up trying to finish it today. I am actually not halfway through like I originally thought, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I do have to leave in a couple of hours to go pick up more product. But other than that, like, I'm chilling. I don't have anything else to do. So for the rest of the morning, I think I'm just gonna hang out, watch some YouTube, and then maybe read a little bit. I'm not really entirely sure what I want to do. I guess we'll probably talk later. I might stop by the library on my way home. We'll see, because I do have to stop by some other places, run some errands. We'll see how I'm feeling.
Oh, my mind intimacy is all I need from you to me. Oh, my mind intimacy is all I need from you to me. Oh, my mind intimacy is all I need from you to me.
So I did end up finishing Viridian Priestess this morning. I actually have not been reading a lot because I've been watching the RP for GTA and it's been so much fun. I've been really enjoying it. It's kind of allowed me to mindlessly watch through this PMDD episode, which has been lovely. But first, Viridian Priestess. I did give it 4 stars. I do think that there were a lot of elements missing in the story. The world building was not that strong, and the world was confusing. There wasn't a lot of explanation of really anything except for what was going on in the moment, and there was not a lot of character work with the hero. There was definitely a focus on his interaction with the heroine and like him being very sweet and very caring, but we didn't really find out anything about him. So the story was fun and sexy and I enjoyed it, but it wasn't perfect. Not that it has to be. And it left a lot to be desired. At the moment, I don't know if there's going to be a second book. Like, the ending was left on a cliffhanger, so it definitely seems like there's going to be more books in the series. But at the moment, there's nothing on Goodreads. I have to act under the assumption that there's not going to be. And it wasn't the best. So that's sort of that. Other than that, I'm doing okay. Like I said, I am in an episode. Well, it's ending like right about now, but I usually feel very out of control and emotional in my episodes, but I actually had a therapy appointment a couple days ago, and I was able to release a lot of the emotions, the pent-up emotions that I tend to have around this time, and it was very nice. The past couple therapy appointments that I've had have been very emotional, as you would anticipate. While they have been tough, they have been enlightening and also cathartic in some ways. And I think what I'm struggling with right now is the line between what I share and what I keep to myself. I don't know where the line is or when it stops to share stuff or when I keep it to myself to, I don't know, protect some sort of privacy within myself. Privacy is not the correct word, but it's hard for me to find the line because I do want to be open and honest and raw and real and show you guys that if you guys are going through similar things or just mental health struggles in general or struggles in general, that you're not alone. But also I think there are things that I need to work out for myself. Maybe always keep it quiet, maybe bring it to you guys when I've figured it out and have some way to help people who might be in a similar situation. I don't know what that looks like, and I don't know within myself what I need, and it's hard for me to keep that kind of stuff back. So that's sort of where I am with all of that. It's been a really good couple of weeks. I'm looking forward to the start of a new year. So that's kind of where we are. The person that I had to go get product from yesterday ended up rescheduling for today, so I need to leave in like an hour or so to meet them, and then I need to come back home and do some stuff for my work. Other than that, I probably am gonna read and then watch RP later tonight.
Lately, my monkey mind is turning over. All the times that knock me off my swing, the break in the chain link. Lately, I'm trying to find some kind of closure, spinning circles at the roller rink. I could walk or skate around, but I'm back where I came from. But then it came as a surprise.